How's it going, everyone? My name is Cadence Hoover, student athlete for Winamac High School, and you're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Welcome to the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Sanders Foods. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find it at your hometown grocery store. First Federal Savings Bank. They don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Riverside Rentals. Discover canoeing, kayaking, and lazy river tubing right here in Winamac. Action Plumbing and Heating for all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Been serving people since 1994. And now, the voice of the Winamac Athletic Podcast, Justin Ruff.
Hello. Welcome back to the Winamac Athletic Podcast, episode 34. And today, we, of course, have a dandy episode for you today. Lots to go through and lots of activities happening this week. Lots of sports at it this week. And, of course, we will talk about all of that. Who is going to be active this week when it comes to our sports. Today is Winamac Girls Track Day. So we will, of course, have the Winamac Hall of Famer coach, Mikey Haschel. Also, we will have the Winamac boys baseball coach. And Coach Hendricks, they started their season last week going to the Knox Redskins field. They ended up falling 7-8 to them, and we will dive deep in what happened in that game last Saturday as we bring on Coach Hendricks. But before we have those wonderful guests join us today, let's go ahead and talk about our activities for this week. Today, I tell you what, man, it's the weather's not looking good. The weather's not being nice to us this week. We got the next couple days. It is going to be in the 20s and 30s, which is not spring weather. So file a complaint there. But when it comes to boys baseball, let's go ahead and start with them. They are traveling to Carroll today. They will play them. Last year, we battled them. We lost 10-3. And this year with Carroll, they are 0-2 right now. They lost their 2 games last week against Lafayette Jeff. Last year, they finished 8-10. They do have some good pitching there. The Zen kid, who's a senior, Xavier Williams, they did end up losing a pretty good pitcher, the sophomore there in Carroll. They lost Peters. They ended up losing him, but still a very good squad there for Carroll. We'll see if we can go there and pick up a W against Carroll. They are also at it again Thursday. Thursday and Friday. They play Argus. They are traveling there. Last year we did not play them. And with Argus, they play Knox tonight, and they are now currently 0-1. They didn't win a game last year, but new players coming in for Argus. But we will see if we pick up the victory Thursday and Friday night against Argus. And then Monday and Tuesday, we travel to Culver. Last year, Culver, they were 4-16, and we played them twice last year. We were 2-0 against the Culver Cavaliers. So that'll be next week, Monday and Tuesday. Good luck to Coach Mark Hendricks and the Winamac boys baseball team this week. Very active. And then let's go ahead and talk about girls and boys track. They start their season officially this week. They will host West Central, both boys and girls, today at 5:30. Don't know much about West Central's track team. I do, however, know that last year they beat us in sectionals, both in the boys and girls team. So hopefully we can win the duo against our rivals tonight against West Central. They are also at it at the Caston Invitational this Saturday for a boys and girls track team. Last year, the boys finished third behind Carroll and Pioneer, and the girls last year, they finished fifth. The 8 schools at that Caston Invitational for track. So good luck to both the boys and girls track team there. Like I mentioned, we will bring on Coach Mikey Haschel today to talk about his season. And then girls softball, they were at it. They did not have anything going on when it comes to game-wise last week. They are very active. This week, however, they will host Morgan Township today at our field at 5:45. Morgan Township, we didn't play them last year. They finished 13-11. They do have some good players, however. They were a pretty young team last year. This year they have a pretty good pitcher in Morgan Watson, and then some other younger players last year who have experience into this year. Girls like Abby Watts, a junior, Braylon Dutskick, and the senior Josie Lemons, who's also a pitcher. A pretty good team there for Morgan Township. Coach Belcher and the Winamac Lady Warrior softball team will have their hands full tonight. Also this week, they host the Argus Dragons, currently a brand new conference opponent. We will play them. Last year, we did not play them similar to Morgan Township. They finished 6-14 last year. They do have a pair of Stackhouse sisters, one of them being Ava, who's a senior, and the other one being Ivy. Leading hitters from the year ago, one of them, Ivy, the sophomore, she's a heck of a pitcher, man. She had over 115 strikeouts last year. They also have a good pitcher in Adeline Lewick, who's pretty decent as well. Not sure yet who will be pitching for our squad or for Argus. But, Argus will give us a run for our money on our field again this week. And then Saturday, they're at it again. They travel this time to South Central, who South Central last year had a heck of a squad. They were 21-5 last year. We lost to them 6-3 on our field. They did lose some seniors, some pretty good softball players in Rosenberg, Warner, and Backman. They are returning Lexi Johnson, who's a pretty good softball player last year for South Central. But again, for Coach Belcher and the Winamac softball team, 3 games out of this week, and they are all pretty good squads that they're going up against. So good luck to Coach Belcher and the Winamac Lady Warriors softball team. And then, topping it off, finishing it off, we do have the Winamac boys golf team. They are at it this Saturday. They are traveling to Rochester in the Rochester Varsity Invitational. They were not in it last year, but Rochester's normally have a pretty good golf team. Last year they finished second in sectionals. Pretty good golf players there at Rochester. This year, of course, we will be communicating with Shell. He'll dive deep into his squad here in the next couple of weeks, but we are returning 3 of our top 5 returners from a year ago. In Hines, Friedel, and Gardner. We are returning Will Burrows, Ryland Craig, and Lewis Rugg as well. Rugg, Craig, Burrows, Hines, and Friedel, they will be traveling to Rochester. They are right now our top 5, and we will bring on Coach Shell next week to dive deep in what happened this Saturday at Rochester. Kind of a schedule update. Again, like I mentioned, this is girls track episode. Next week, we will be sitting down with Coach Kappas and going through the Winamac boys track team and their season with a student athlete. And then 2 weeks from today, we will bring on Coach Shell and talk about the Winamac boys golf team, finalizing the last sport for this season and talking about their season, their 2024-25 season for the boys golf team. So that is what is to come this week. Again, like I mentioned, lots of activity going on with all of our sports. We are beginning spring season time, spring sports, no big deal. Now we just need the weather to cooperate with us a little bit more, and then we'll be right back in it. But like I mentioned, we will have up next Coach Mark Hendricks talk about last week against the Knox Redskins, and then right after that, we will have Coach Mikey Haschel. Hey, you're doing it. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Hey guys, this is Allie Campbell, a student athlete at Winamac Community High School, and you're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Welcome back to the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today, once again, we're going to make him a day-to-day thing every episode, hopefully. We're bringing on the head coach of the Winamac boys baseball team, Coach Mark Hendricks. Hendricks, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Good. You want to be on every episode, right? It's not just me wanting you on. You want to be on every one.
You're exactly right. Probably get a little ratings boost.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'll just show you the ratings of the baseball episode. They saw Mark Hendricks on, and they just went down.
I guarantee they did.
Oh, no, all jokes. But, Coach, we got to have you on. You had your first game last Saturday, and it was supposed to be a home game. Again, it sounds like a little madness that went on, going into that. But you guys traveled to Knox. If you want, Coach, let's talk about, first of all, why you want to travel to Knox instead of Winamac. What the heck?
Well, I didn't want to. We had our whole field redone. The field's beautiful. The mound just has not firmed up. We can't practice on it. We just can't do much anything with it. So, Knox was able to host us. We're supposed to have a JV game at home tonight, and we're gonna play at Caston. And both of our games now will be at Argus, and we haven't gone out any farther past that. Mr. Leverett is working on it all the time. Stan's working on it. We're trying hard to get back to playing at home, but it's not cooperating very well.
Right. It was funny because my plan was to go to Saturday and just go there and stop by the field, and it was. I was taking my family to breakfast because I'm a good dad, and I saw the two buses, and the first one was led by you. I'm like, that was Hendricks. And I'm like, where the heck are they going? And this was before I saw the tweet that Leverett tweeted out that it was at Knox, and then I saw, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So I'm like, I knew that was Hendricks.
Yeah, it was. We're going to be road warriors here for a little bit, and hopefully everything works out and, get to play some home game.
All right, Coach, let's talk about that game. Heck, it sounded like a battle against the Knox Redskins. And, of course, you mentioned when I had you on last week, it's great to see them game one because they are in our sectional. You threw a lot of things at them, but let's get a recap of that game, Coach.
Yeah, they started a kid that he tied us up in knots last year. We couldn't hit him last year, and when the first inning, top of the first inning was over, we had 4 runs on the board. We ended up out hitting them for the day 9-3, which I was really happy with. Just we couldn't make a couple plays when we had to. I think we only had 3 errors, but it seemed like every one of them was just a really, really key time, and. We kept hitting the ball most of the day. I think it was 7-7 going into the bottom of the 7th inning. We were tied. Maybe it was 7-3. I don't know. But I know Knox got it tied up, and then they had the bases loaded. And I think we had 2 outs, and a pitch got away from Addison. He hit the batter, and that's how they got the winning run. Right. It's high school baseball and it was 30 degrees. I understand all that, but I was thrilled to death with our hitting. I'm not worried about Addison. Addison was throwing really well up to that point. All of them did. I started Winsler, and then Brody Winsler. He did really well, and I brought in Cody Wheeler. For Cody, he struggled a little bit. I mean, most people would love to have him, but I know he probably wasn't happy. But he'll be fine. I'm not worried about Cody. Mm-hmm. And then I brought in Braden Mathias. Braden threw pretty well, and then we brought in Addison to kind of nail it down. And we'll probably do the same thing tomorrow at Carroll. I just want to get these guys some innings, get them used to, being back out on the hill, and then Thursday and Friday I'll throw who I have to win those conference games.
Love it. And like you said, Coach, what really caught my eye was your hitting. I know you had a few guys coming in, hitting the ball pretty well. Will Malco had about 2 hits. And Martin, the freshman, he had 2 hits as well. And you mentioned Wheeler. He was pitching a little bit, but he had about 2 RBIs and 2 hits. Lots of good hits from lots of your players there.
Yeah. I thought Hutch coming in as a freshman, he had a double. He ripped that ball.
Yeah.
He did really well. And Will Malco, Will's big for us. Getting Will on base is gigantic. He had 2 hits and he had 3 stolen bases. Will is tough to deal with his speed. And then, Cody had a couple of hits. I know Runk had one, Winsler. We were kind of up and down. The kid, I was really pleased. We had, I think, 7 strikeouts. It's a little high, but for the conditions in first game, I was really pleased with what we did hitting.
I love it. And hopefully, I'm kind of hoping we see them again in sectional, because it sounds like it was a good battle, and we could definitely get them again. The chances are right. Love it. Let's talk about your next game, Coach. It's today. You travel to Carroll. What do you know about Carroll baseball team?
Carroll's usually our opener every year. Haven't had very good luck against them. They're in a great spot for baseball. They've got half their kids go to Lafayette all winter and hit, and the other half go to Kokomo all winter and hit. And
wow,
it makes a big difference. But last year we were right there in the game. This year I'll be disappointed if we're not right there to win it or get it done. The only thing I know for sure, and I feel terrible for the kid, Saturday, they have a sophomore. He's their best player. He broke his ankle. He's done, and it breaks my heart because he's such a good boy. With my brother being there, I know all those boys.
Yeah.
I feel for him, and we're just going to, we'll go over and see what we can get done to hopefully get a W.
Awesome. I love to hear it. And it's crazy because your first 2 games, just yourself, you have ties with both of these schools.
Yeah.
So it's wild. I know with Knoxville, football, and then your brother being at Carroll. It's crazy how these first 2 games are, have little ties. So it's Hendrick, no big deal.
Yeah, it was. I saw a lot of familiar faces Saturday on both sides, so that was really nice. And be the same thing at Carroll. So those are fun games.
One thing I do have to add before we let you go, Coach, are those jerseys new? I didn't really see. They look awesome.
The uniforms are really sharp. The maroon with white pinstripes.
Yeah.
I like them a lot. They're really sharp. The kids love them. They're nice. I really like them.
Well, if you have a spare, I would love to have one. Even if it's extra small, I can fit myself into it.
I've got a black one with gold pinstripes you can have.
No, I will not have that one. No, thank you. I will probably use that as a good something to keep me warm on the fire. I'll throw that on there. Well, hey, Coach, can't thank you enough for jumping on. Hopefully we'll get you back on next week, and hopefully you're a little bit happier taking on getting a W against Carroll. You have any last words?
Looks like not this week, but next week the weather's going to turn, I think, so we'll finally get in some good baseball weather and get going.
Love it. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Coach, for jumping on. That was the head coach, Mark Hendricks of the Winamac boys baseball team. We will be right back. Hey, this is Justin Ruff, and you're doing it. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
It's time for the Warrior Coach of the Day. Let's return to the voice of the Winamac Athletic Podcast, Justin Ruff.
Welcome back to the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today, super excited to bring back on the Winamac Hall of Famer, the new head coach of our Winamac Lady Warrior track team, Coach Mikey Haschel. How's it going, Mikey? How you doing?
Oh, doing pretty good. Glad to be here.
Hey, we're back at it again. Heck, it feels like it was actually not too long ago. We're sitting in the exact same spot. You were talking about girls and boys cross country, and now here we are in the spring season talking about some track this year.
Yeah, spring, if you'd like to call it that. I do believe I saw some flurries out there today, so not real springy.
I did, and you, of course, this week I mentioned earlier, just not friendly Mother Nature this week, and hopefully it will get a little bit warmer throughout the spring season. But Coach, it is just you today, jumping on with us, talking about some Winamac girls track. We will bring on a Winamac athlete later on in the season and talk about their season. But right now it's just you, Mikey, which is always awesome and enjoyable. This is the part where I normally say this is a great opportunity to get to know you and your background and have the listeners get to know you. But we've already talked about that. We've had you on multiple times. Like I mentioned, Winamac Hall of Famer. But what I do want to know, Coach, is the process leading up to you being the new head coach for the girls track team. Can you talk about that process that I do believe happened after the season ended last year?
So I helped with distance last year with both boys and girls as an assistant coach for the track team, the girls side. And, a few years back, I also helped with Coach Beach. It's been, quite a few years back now. But anyway, so I've been involved in the program for quite a while. And, with Bennett stepping down, I put my name in the hat, and they said, let's do it.
Let's do it. And I'm thankful that they did, because I love your knowledge here for running and all that stuff. When I talked to you before and going through your background, you said that you did do track. What events did you do in track?
I was a distance runner, obviously, in track. Did the 4x8, 800 mile, and 32. I was probably most successful in the 32. That was my jam, was running the long stuff.
Long stuff. Did you ever try any short distance, like 400? I guess you can call that short.
I'm sure I probably had to run a leg of a 4x4. If so, my brain is trying to block that out.
That's all right. That's all right. All right, let's talk about it, your track team, Coach. Before that, actually, let's talk about just the history of Winamac girls track. I was looking at all of the records and championships. They're again just a good tally mark. I think the last sectional championship for the girls was 2010. Really good runners there and athletes there. Then looking at the record books, heck, there's a lot of good athletes that came into Winamac when it comes to girls track. What can you bring and add on to that? The layout of Winamac girls track.
Well, yeah, I'm still delving through a lot of that the archives here. I've got books upon books as far as the results from previous years. That's one thing I really want to try and get a better handle on, is who has come before, where we're at now, and how we compare to them. Obviously, our record board shows a lot of prominent names. People have done a lot of great things, and all these names, will stay familiar for quite a long time, obviously. It's a rich history, and hopefully we're going to be making some more of it this year.
Love it. I love it. Your team, let's focus on your team, Coach. Again, this is your very first year being the head coach. You've been involved, like you mentioned, for a few years now, but let's talk about your current team and who's all involved.
Well, just running down the roster, we've got Allie Campbell, Macy Erb, Maddie Foster, Miley Foster, Claire Goodman, Maddie Goodman, Sierra Haschel, Cadence Hoover, Jordan Honchel, Marissa Iverson, Candace Croft, Rochelle Lamer, Ava Malco, Sadie Popejoy, Hallie Short, Allison Vitas, Emily Weaver, and Avery Wagner. They're all going to be putting in a lot of work this year. This first meet, we've got multiple people doing multiple events. I mean, it seems like a lot of names, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, when you could run, or rather enter two people at least in an event, you got the three different relays. We're gonna be stretched pretty thin. Fortunately, as you probably know, a lot of talent inside that list as well. So we should fend well.
I love it. And your season begins today. You host the West Central Trojans, and it is weird. We talked a little bit off air, Coach, but it's weird, you being a cross-country coach, you were a weekend guy. You had a bunch of your meets weekend, and now this is Tuesday. Next week, you have multiple Tuesday and Thursday meets, and throughout the season. How hard is that to adjust? Again, you're used to it, you being involved in track, but just as a head coach view.
My brain is spinning right now at this point. It's definitely a whole different beast. There's a lot of coordination and the fun fact of it all is a vast majority of them are home meets. So we're setting up those meets and getting everybody's rosters in and delegating and replanning. I keep telling everybody maybe I'm overthinking this one, being our first one, but I definitely have put a lot of thought into it and. Yeah, when you've got that many moving parts, that many different kids, people with talent levels that can go across the spectrum. I mean, yeah, the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday stuff, it's a little rough. I mean, I'm kind of like a train, then compete, and it's like, oh, well, where's the train part? It's like compete and rest, recover, compete, rest, recover, tweak. So yeah, it's a different beast.
Well, let's move on to your off-season activities, Coach. I know you jumping on, as the new head coach. What did your off-season activities look like for the student athletes?
Well, for us, off-season tends to be basketball. A lot of these kids are coming from basketball, but those that were with us in the off-season, we have our conditioning time, and through there we did a lot of core work. Nothing real specific, as which that is conditioning. It's not real specific, but I feel like those that were there regularly really put in a lot of work, got stronger, and some of those things that we did, where we've learned that it worked out well, and we're applying it to the rest of our season. So, I think the crew that was there regularly, they put in a lot of work.
Yeah, and lots of that work I do remember just years being on the basketball court. It was mostly towards February, March, possibly, just seeing you guys running up the stairs, running the hallways, and I do believe it was boys and girls, but I don't know. I have the girls more stuck in my head because I remember you and Bennett just yelling on the side, love it, and that was part of the off-season stuff, correct?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we do have to run inside a lot. It's our kind of our indoor facility, if you will.
Yeah.
Don't really care for that much because, the ground is, it's concrete floors, probably not great on us. So we kept that fairly limited. Any day that, it was available, be outside, we'd be outside. But, yeah, we were definitely up and down some stairs and around the halls.
All right, Coach, let's talk about your fundraisers, any camps that you have. I know it's a big part of each program. Let's go ahead and talk about those bad boys.
As far as fundraisers go, this summer we're looking at hopefully exclusive. You heard it here first. We are looking at bringing back the Rick Hashel Memorial 5K. Nice. Hopefully that's definitely a go. So that'll benefit track and the cross country program. But as far as we don't do a track camp per se. But we do cross for the distance kids, and that's our main fundraiser to really speak about.
I love it. And that's a pretty fun one. Pretty cool. All right, well, let's talk about your goals. Again, heading into a new season, lots of you're returning, I believe, lots of runners and athletes. You did miss a good amount from last year. I know Maggie Smith catches my eye, was heavily involved in lots of stuff during the track season. But what are your goals heading into this season, Coach?
Well, I have similar goals. My mentality doesn't change from cross to track. I've told them all from the start, it's all about improvement. I really hope that when you walk in the door, you're faster or are doing better than when you leave at the end of the season. It seems so far that everybody seems to be focused on that. And like you said, the wins, the losses happen in between. And I would hope that more wins than losses means that we're not only getting better, we're getting better than others. I don't really have any specific goals as far as most people would think is like, oh, we're going to win this, we're going to beat them, we're going to do that. Like you said, it's an accumulative process of everyone getting better.
I love it. Beautiful. And I remember loving it when you said that. You pretty much said the same thing in cross country, and it's beautiful. It hits well. I love it, Coach.
Yeah, the sports that I do, it's pretty cut and dry. You know, you're time based, your distance based, your throws are same thing. It's like it's very measurable results.
Yeah, I love it. Well, hey, Coach, look at us go, man. We're used to this now. Like just 1 year down, and we're getting used to this. This is great. I can't thank you enough for spending the time and jumping on with me today. But before we wrap it up, do you have any last words or comments?
Well, like I said, a lot of home meets. If you go to the athletic website, which I believe is WinamacWarriors.com, you'll see our schedule come out. Check out a meet. We're going to be out there at 5:30, so we hope to see some people out there. Help us stay warm.
Hopefully, nothing gets canceled too many times. Again, weather's funky right now. You have a meet today against West Central. You have a meet. You're traveling to Caston for the Invitational there Saturday, so hopefully it doesn't snow too much. I don't know why I'm saying that, in March, but that's just April. Heck, we're in April now. Goodness, even worse. But hey, Coach, can't thank you enough. That was a Winamac Hall of Famer, Coach Mikey Haschel, the head coach of the Winamac Lady Warrior track team. Stay tuned because, of course, that is not the last time you will hear his beautiful voice. We will bring him on multiple times to go through his season and every meet that they have had. This is Justin Ruff, and you're doing it. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Sanders Foods. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find it at your hometown grocery store. First Federal Savings Bank. They don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Riverside Rentals. Discover canoeing, kayaking, and lazy river tubing right here in Winamac. Action Plumbing and Heating. For all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Been serving people since 1994. We would like to thank our sponsors for sponsoring today's show and being part of the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe. Go Warriors!